Hi, and welcome KCIW listeners at 100.7 and KCZH Access Humboldt. We appreciate you being with us. Here we are in Brookings, Oregon. I'm none better than Joanie Lindenmeier. You're on the show with me, and I guess sitting right across from me. And our title of our show is Joyously Free. So we're going to always begin, as we do every single week, with our morning salutation. I'm going to say it's a brand new day, and you, listeners, get to respond with never been lived before. Here we go. It's a brand new day.
Never been lived before.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited to have this friend with me today here. But hang on to your horses. So here we go. So this Radio Gadio show, as Will and Viv named it, is a show that talks about LGBTQ plus stories and tips, along with religion, church, faith, spirituality, and joy. Simply put, the purpose of the show is to share, radiate, and spread abundant joy and abundant freedom, hence the title of my second book, Joyously Free. I co-authored it with Elizabeth N. Atkins of twosisterswriting.com. In this radio broadcast this morning, there will be no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. Yes, I know I mention that all the time, but it's important because that's how we need to live our daily life. And so in place of that, let's replace it with the 3 C's: courage, confidence, and collaboration. Let's seek understanding. Let's think out of the box. Our special guest is sitting right across from me. She's sparkling, and I know I've got a few more things to read here. But, we like to start with our prayer. That's a real important part of my life. Every morning and throughout the day, I have prayer. And it's a way to open our hearts, asking our Creator to shine light on our community and our world. I excitedly believe in hope, in the power of the divine, and that Jesus, God, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with me and always with you. So we don't need to be afraid or troubled, saddened or depressed, because joy and peace are an internal expression of love and harmony that is already within us. All we have to do is reach in, and there it is. Let's center ourselves before we start our program today. Let's take a big, deep breath in with the good and out with doubt. Let's breathe again through your nose with hope and out from your mouth with fears. Last one. Take a big, deep breath in with joy and confidence and out with worry or despair. In the name of Mother Earth, God our Creator, Jesus our Redeemer, and the blowing winds of the Spirit, I say, hi. Hi, Jesus. Hi, Spirit. Thanks for being with us today. My reading that I've chosen for today is actually a quote, and it's actually the title of the guest speaker today that we have with us. It's the title of her book, and I love this because it really came to me in prayer this morning. The quote, the title of the book, Undoing the Knots. That's Knots. Undoing the Knots. And when I prayed about that this morning in my living room, in my prayer corner, all I could think about were the trials, the tribulations, the conflicts, the stuff that just gets like crap. I don't know if I can say that word on the radio or not, but stuff that happens in life. And it's like, how do you undo these things? What do you do with all of this stuff? And my answer this morning in prayer was, all I need is Jesus. That's my spirituality. I just needed to give it over, to let it go. And yes, there's things that go through my mind and my heart, and I think about the wars going on and the conflicts with people, and I'm going to different prides throughout this season, and the conflicts I hear with LGBTQ issues and church issues and community issues. And it's like, I want to undo those knots. I want to give those over to Jesus every day so that I can radiate the joy and the peace. That is really who I am. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I hope you can do the same thing. Think about that for a little bit. And as we end our prayer, my little reflection, let's lift up our friends and family. Let's see if we can find some guidance and healing today. Thank you, Holy One, for hearing and being with us. Bless us to do a bigger will than ourselves. Help us to have a happy day, to be good listeners and good joy promoters. So here we are, sitting across at the studio around this round table with my very, very dear friend who I met at a book event, and she will probably explain more. But I want to introduce everybody to, and let's get the round of applause going, Cynthia Paulsen. Yes, friend, author, minister, and she just got her doctorate. I'm so proud of her for that. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you, Joanie.
Oh, very cool.
Thanks for having
Very
me.
cool. Oh, it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. And I know that's the name of your doggy, but it is an absolute joy, you know. And our title today, which I love what you came up with, and I don't know if you remember, but this is what you had told me.
Oh.
We can use spiritual tools to make our life better.
Mm-hmm.
And those are going to be the conversations and the pieces that we get to talk about and discuss today. What do you think?
I say yes to that.
Right on.
That is true.
Right on. Good. Well, let's start off. How are you today?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful.
And any particular reason why, or that's just who you are?
No, yes, I affirm good things and it's a good day just because it's today.
Yes, for sure. And you do affirm good things.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. So speaking of affirming good things, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, how you met me, anything you want to put out there. Who are you?
Okay, so I am Reverend Dr. Cynthia Paulsen.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Yay, right? Finally finished that doctorate. So, I am an interfaith minister, and I am also a religious science New Thought minister, so double ordained minister. I have a master's in holistic theology. Like I said, recently completed the doctorate of divinity with Emerson. I'm a divine science spiritual practitioner and teacher. Author, as you said, of Undoing the Knots, which is a book. It's a collection of essays, and it is about all this stuff, spiritual principle. It's about new thought, spiritual practices, ways that we can use spirituality to make our lives better. That is my life's purpose, is to teach people these things. I fully believe there is no limit to the good that we can experience. The subtitle of the book is It's Undoing the Knots, Reclaiming Our Good. So that means, the stuff you were talking about, the crap. I hope we can say that word. I call it the human muck. Uh-huh. We get into our egos, we get into our human issues and problems, but when we dive into our spiritual practice and begin to understand spiritual principle, those things begin to fall away, and we really do improve our life experience. That's the whole idea. That's why we're here.
Yes.
So that's that. I would love to talk also about how we met.
Okay, go for it.
Because I had just recently moved to Brookings. I had been here not even quite a year, and I was following the library's events and saw this cute little woman that was going to have this book event. And I thought, I need to go meet her because I want to see what, how our library works and what events they put on. And I watched your wonderful None Better presentation, and we chatted, and we're fellow authors and traded books. And with the spiritual stuff, we just hit it off, obviously.
We did. I consider you one of my best friends here in town. Absolutely, because of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your book. How long did it take for you to write your book?
That book is a compilation of so many different sermons that I have given. Every sermon I give is another lesson on what kind of spirituality we can use, what kind of spiritual principle or spiritual practice we can use to recognize our oneness and our unity with the divine. So over the years, was originally ordained an interfaith minister 10 years ago in 2015, and I've been guest speaking at various churches and centers ever since. So I had a lot of material to work with, but you know as well as anybody, it takes a while to get all those things edited and organized and laid out. And I would say it took several years of collecting all of that and putting it together. And I have a new book in the works too, hopefully for the end of this year.
Oh, fantastic. Does it have a title yet?
It does. It's called That's a Good Thought.
That's a good thought. I love it. You are so practical and down to earth. I love that about you. But you're also the spiritual guru,
right.
And can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I got to write that down. That's a good thought. Okay, everybody got that now? That's a good thought. Are they up for pre-sale or not yet?
Not yet. Not yet. In fact, it's early editing stages. My goal is by the end of this year.
Okay. Okay. And I would love to be a part of maybe having a book event at the library or
so fun.
Something. We'll
Yes.
figure that one out.
For
Okay.
sure.
Perfect. So you said spiritual practice. You've mentioned that word a couple times already.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Right? Oh my gosh. So I think it can mean different things for different people.
Okay.
There is, I think, an infinite amount of different ways that we can practice spirituality. Now, what comes to mind automatically would be prayer, of course, meditation. There's journaling. There is using affirmations. There is, you can take a walk in nature, and that's considered spiritual practice. Forgiveness is spiritual practice. There are so many, gratitude, intention setting. There's so many different methods, and then that's not even including church and religion rituals. So it's all the gamut. I believe in a universal God, and I honor all paths to God. So you tell me, it could be absolutely anything. If you're connecting with the divine in whatever way, then that's a spiritual practice. Yeah. So it is any and all.
That's
things.
beautiful. That's beautiful, because I know in my heart of hearts that, and I believe this, that I am a spiritual being as well as a human being.
Absolutely.
And there are things that have happened in my life that I have no common sense of how to explain how that happened or what happened. And it's all
NOEs.
a God thing. I call it a God thing. But
I call them NOEs, no other explanation.
No other explanation.
NOE.
Write that one down, everybody. NOE, no other
Right.
explanation.
Yeah. And there's no coincidences. It's all God in action. And the more open you are to that, the more you're going to see that in your life experience.
So how do you stay open? How do you become open?
I do it a lot with spiritual practice. So every day I start my day with yoga.
Okay.
And then I go from yoga to physical exercise. I work out some way, whether it's taking a walk or doing an exercise video. And then I move into my spiritual practice of reading spiritual texts. And that can be anything from the Bible to my book, and anything in between, anything that's going to uplift and inspire me spiritually. And then I move into meditation. And really, for me, I only have one goal in mind when I meditate, and that is to connect and commune with the divine, to just open myself to my oneness and unity, whatever I need to know. And that can oneness and unity with my source. Mm-hmm. And that can look like and feel like so many different things for me. But that's all I'm shooting for with meditation, is that calmness, that stillness. And that can also be, spirit guides, angels, loved ones in spirit. It's all the divine.
The past, the present, and the future.
Absolutely. And just no limit to it. And then I go from meditation to journaling. And that's often where I'm either, working out whatever I experienced in meditation, or I'm using it as setting intentions. I'm writing the life I wish to see, the outcome I wish to see, using it for prayer, using that manual dexterity with our hands and our fingers and our brain, and inviting source into creating my life with me. So that's how I'm always trying to stay open to a relationship with the divine.
Relationship.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Yep.
That's the key. And it's not a one-way relationship. It's a two-way.
Absolutely. It's, it's like, they say prayer is talking to, meditation is listening to, or listening and receiving. And it's a two-way street. It's an ongoing, open relationship. Love it.
Beautiful. And then the practice part. Okay, spiritual practice. Uh-huh. The practice is having a routine or doing it just like practicing your cooking or practicing brushing your teeth or practicing whatever you want to practice, but it's that constancy.
Yes, absolutely. And I call it the circling back. It's the reminding. And for me, it is a daily thing, because it's very easy to forget about your meditation practice and skip your morning prayers or whatever. But for me, it's that like you were saying, how we are human, we are both human and divine. We are expressions of the divine, but we are right now in a human body. And it's just that reminding, because we forget.
Yeah.
We get bogged down with our, quote, human problems and our human muck, our human issues, and we forget, wait, all is well. God is expressing in me, through me, as me, right now. All the qualities and traits of the divine are my qualities and traits. And so when we circle back and we have that spiritual practice moment, it can be once a day, it can be several times a day, it can be for an hour, it can be for 5 minutes. I mean, hey, things happen. Sometimes I got stuff to do and I can't do 2 hours of my morning routine, you know? So, but it's that circling back and making that commitment and recognizing, I know I live my best life when I make that commitment to that practice.
Right.
So.
Right. And that commitment is like in a relationship with a human person.
Sure.
You know, but Carol and I were together for 40 years. That was a commitment that we made to each other. Mm-hmm. There are people that are committed to their AA programs, or they're committed to a different style of exercise or whatever it may be, but they're committed to it.
Yes.
That's a key word.
Yes. And for me, it's like the commitment to my awareness. What am I staying focused on? That is the key to, again, me living my best life, is to keep my awareness on the divine.
Right.
That's my truth. That's the truth of who and what I am. That's the truth of who everyone is, whether they know it or not.
Right. That's beautiful. And then you talk about interfaith. You're an interfaith minister.
Yes.
So you're not attached to a denomination, whether it's a Western Christian denomination or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Jewish.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about interfaith. How did that happen for you?
Well, I initially went through a program with a school called American Interfaith Holistic Theology, I think was it Interfaith? American? Now I'm messing up there. They have since closed, so nobody can check. But
did you grow up with an interfaith?
No, I actually was raised going to Catholic church.
Oh.
I never jumped through all the hoops with First Communion and the confirmation and all of that, but that was my home base. That was the church that we went to. And after we had moved to other parts of the country, and I lived in the South for a while and went with friends to some Southern Baptist churches. And truthfully, I enjoyed both places. Those are very different, Christian denominations, Catholicism and Southern Baptist. Very different. And there were things I loved about both, but they weren't quite right for me. I could tell that something wasn't quite right. And then from there, I ended up with going to a United Church of Christ church, which was kind of an interesting blend of both those places, right? And that church hired me to be their Christian education director.
Oh.
And because I had teaching experience, I used to teach elementary school years ago. And so I kind of stumbled into that job. And what that forced me to do was to read the Bible. I had to do children's sermons in front of the church, and it was the minister at that church who said, "I think you could be in the pulpit. I think you could teach the adults." And it was such a lovely gesture on his part. And he, they had freedom of the pulpit, so they let me try a few times. And at that point, I was, in the holistic theology program, and but it really showed me the idea of a universal God, that all of these different paths are leading to the same source. And that spirituality is and, can be and maybe should be different for all of us. There's a reason for that, and it's so we can learn from each other and appreciate each other. It's like, the human body, how different we all look and act. And let's throw in LGBTQ, like, come on, that's the reason for all the diversity. It's all expressions of the divine. As I always say, spirit creates out of itself. That's all it has to work with. So nothing can exist that isn't truly a reflection of spirit.
Yes, that's Joyously Free.
Exactly.
That's book number 2 for Joanie.
I love it.
Joyously Free. Oh my gosh. Yes, that universality. I love that, how you describe that. And you mentioned something, that freedom of the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
So are you preaching at a place now as a interfaith minister? Tell me about this.
So I typically guest speak at New Thought churches. So New Thought is an umbrella term. These are the Centers for Spiritual Living churches, Unity churches, and Divine Science churches. So that's typically where so I'm independent. I'm not affiliated with any one particular church, but I do speak quite often up in Bandon. So the Brookings local folks will know what Bandon is. So the Unity of Bandon is up there. And then the other one I speak at quite often is Centers for Spiritual Living, Midtown Atlanta. And they do a lot of their talks online. So I get to do it right from home, from my office, which is great. So that's and then I also present quite a bit in Crescent City. There is a small group called Universal Heart Center, and they're not technically a church, but it's a gathering, and we study different, spiritual leaders, and a lot of New Thought is what they talk about, and it's a great opportunity. We watch YouTube videos together, we inspire each other, we do talks with each other, and we take turns presenting there. So I do present quite a bit with them as well.
Nice. Yeah. And is that the sort of like your goal now as a doctor and as an author, to do more speaking?
Yeah.
And do you do spiritual direction?
I do. So I do.
Two questions. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No. I do a lot of filling in for ministers. I do, talks, sermons. I do teaching. I do a lot of workshop classes. In fact, I just submitted a course proposal to the community college here for a community class. And so we're looking at that probably for next winter.
Okay.
And it's, similar to the content of my book. It's going to be about spiritual practices, a class on forgiveness, a class on gratitude, a class on how to write an affirmation or how to write an affirmative prayer, or how to do meditation. So all different things like that. And then I also do spiritual practitioner sessions, which are one-on-one, similar to spiritual counseling.
Okay.
It's so if someone's dealing with an issue and they're wanting, whether it's a physical ailment that they're wanting healing from, or guidance or clarity around an issue. So I meet with them and we do a little, grounding meditation together. It's a whole experience. It lasts usually at least an hour, if not a little longer. And, we talk about whatever's going on. And I help people explore their thoughts, their beliefs. There's a lot of metaphysics to it. And we see if we can get to maybe the root cause, because we believe, our life is a reflection of our consciousness. So if we've got something we don't want to be experiencing, something's going on in us that's causing this reflection, and that's never from a place of blame or judgment. That's from the place of this is an opportunity to align ourselves with the divine and get this human amok stuff cleared up. Mm-hmm. So I'm always eager to have have people come and meet with me. So we do a lot of talking, and then we do, I do an affirmative prayer, and I record it, which is a kind of an involved, specific language type prayer. And I record that and send them off, and then I always allow a follow-up if you want to get an extra prayer for recorded and given as well.
That's beautiful. So how does somebody get a hold of you, Cynthia?
I have a website, cynthiapaulsen.com, and it's Paulsen. So cynthiapaulsen.com. There's a form you could fill out there. My email address is on there if you want to email me directly, which is affirmgoodthings@gmail.com.
Affirm good things. I love it.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
So, that's how you can get a hold of me.
Fantastic. This time went by so fast. That's like 25 minutes.
Yay.
Would you give us and the listeners a final couple comments or golden nuggets that are within you right now?
Well, we truly are expressions of the divine. And like I said, there is no limit to the good that we can experience. So if anyone is experiencing something that they don't want to experience, whether that be an illness or a feeling of lack or, a lack of creativity, or, a lack of love. If anyone is dealing with human muck problems, and I always say problems in quotes, please reach out to me.
Okay.
I truly believe that spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer is so powerful. And I would love to help someone look at their thoughts, their beliefs, talk and think about the idea of a universal God and how you are expressing as it, how you are showing up as it. Because that's all the divine wants, is the opportunity to show up. And I'm that opportunity. You are that opportunity. Everyone is that opportunity.
So show up.
That's right.
Show up. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And I get it. You just got to show up. Cynthia, thank you from the top of my heart. Thank you for being on the radio show today of Joyously Free.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, beautiful listeners on the gorgeous coast of Southern Oregon and Northern California, for being with us, Cynthia and myself, today. We hope you've been inspired, challenged, and have enjoyed the stories and tips, hopes, love, and joys with Cynthia and myself. Yes, me, none better, Joanie Lindenmeier. KCIW 100.7 FM team, Tom Bozek is on the sound today. But we always want to remember Candace and Rose and the whole team that makes all of this happen. Donations are accepted. Sponsorship of Joyously Free can be arranged at $250 a year. But this isn't a financial thing. But we would love your finances to keep us going. That's what it's all about. Leave us a comment, keep us informed, and know that smile big and wear bright colors.